Let's head down to Orlando, where Colorado, they left the friendly confines of Boulder. They go down to Florida and dominate UCF 48-21, taking down the previously undefeated Knights at home. And after the game, they were feeling good. Director of Player Personnel Corey Phillips tweeted that flips could be coming. Flip season is here. So, Steve, Colorado looking for more flips. Some names we've been tracking are Byron Baldwin, Carday Smith, Julian Lewis, but there's some more names to know on this list.
Yeah, and Josh, we call it spatula season on the Wiltfong whip around, not to be confused with flip season everywhere else. Dallas Wilson's a prospect that they're obviously swinging at. Jerome Miles is a 5-star receiver committed to USC that they're trying to get involved with. Samari Reed is a receiver that I believe that they're getting involved in right now, committed to Ole Miss, visited West Virginia earlier in the season. They'd like to make an impression on Jesse Harold, that top 100 edge rusher committed to LSU. He doesn't think he's going to visit Colorado right now. We'll see what happens. Mantrez Walker's a longtime Colorado commit that included some major targets in his tweet, and he included Kevin Wynn, on 300 defensive lineman, currently committed to Florida State, that Georgia and South Carolina, among others, are trying to flip. But Byron Baldwin, still like my on 3 RPM for Colorado to ultimately flip him. Penn State's trying to change that narrative. Carday Smith, he told me he's trying to get back to USC. I know him and his family had a great time at Colorado. Look for him to get an official visit scheduled back to Boulder as well. They're going to have big home games against Cincinnati and Kansas State. Those are going to be big recruiting weekends for Colorado. They're trying to line up some guys that we haven't even mentioned yet. So we'll see what names pop for Colorado in this upcoming game against Kansas State, because they're trying to work on some big ones behind the scenes. And then the biggest fish is Julian Lewis, right? 5-star quarterback, currently committed to USC, was back at USC this weekend. Colorado, they know they need a quarterback. I mean, they need someone to come in and be that guy after Deion Sanders. I would expect them to go into the transfer portal and try and land a player the caliber of like what Miami did with Cam Ward this past cycle. But I still think they'd love to get a young high school guy in there. Julian Lewis is target numero uno. But as we get closer to the early signing period on December 4th, Colorado knows that they can't just be caught hanging without a quarterback this cycle too. So it'll be interesting to see what quarterbacks they send out a ping to, who gets interested in them. Deuce Knight was a guy that they tried to recruit a while back. Maybe they try and circle around on Deuce Knight. Maybe some guys we're not talking about right now, but quarterback is going to become a point of emphasis for Colorado throughout the rest of the cycle. It's obvious Julian Lewis is their top target at the position, but they would like to land someone if it's not Julian Lewis.
Yeah. Now, Colorado beats Baylor. They beat UCF. They have a ton of momentum, and they head into the bye week. So it's usually a chance to recruit. Now, we know Coach Prime doesn't hit the road. He doesn't do that. But can we expect Colorado assistant coaches to hit the road this week? And how significant do you think it'll be to kind of track and see who they're seeing?
Well, I haven't heard anything one way or the other if their coaches are going to go on the road or not, but it's pretty standard practice that coaches go on the road during the bye week and do some recruiting. So I would imagine that Colorado falls in line with those standard practices, and their assistant coaches are on the road shaking some trees. And what a time to be on the road. You just waxed UCF on the road. You're building some momentum, got a few wins in a row. Travis Hunter's the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Deion Sanders is going to be on all those quarterback award lists following the season. There's a lot of energy on social media about Colorado. You look at what their locker room looked like pregame at UCF. It looked like a very exciting place to be if you're a young person. So I think there's a lot of kids resonating with the environment around Colorado football right now. They're seeing the results on the field. They're seeing young players making an impact out there. And then certainly a chance to be coached by a staff that has a lot of connections to the NFL. Go out on the road, kiss some babies, shake some trees, and see what prospects you can get to big home games coming up against Kansas State and Cincinnati.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if that Buffalo's logo walks into Carrollton, Georgia this week to go see Julian Lewis.
Josh, there's a lot of kids that Colorado is recruiting right now that would come from the beach or come from the flatlands or whatever. And they come out to Colorado and they see those mountains and the picturesque views and the ambiance around campus, and they are blown away that they could potentially live there, get coached by Deion Sanders. And it's just an exciting environment around the community. Is another secret weapon that I've noticed talking to some of these prospects with Colorado. Certainly the first draw is to come potentially play for Deion Sanders, but just being if you haven't lived in the mountains before, it's completely foreign. You can fall in love with it pretty quickly. And I've seen a lot of recruits and their families talk about looking up and seeing all those mountains around them and just how picturesque everything is around them in Boulder. They just love the community vibe.
Yeah, and I'm like you said, there's some big visit weekends coming up after this bye week, so we will see some big-time recruits out in Boulder. But right now, Colorado fans, how you feeling coming off of a dominating win in Florida over UCF with hundreds of recruits watching? Let us know, comment section below.